Okay, guys, really good team win. You laughing at me for still having the hat on? You should see what my hair looks like underneath this. All right, I'm not going to let you see it, Gary. But, really a strange game. Not even a strange game, but both offenses possessed the ball for a long period of time where you had 3 possessions in the first half. It's kind of one of those games, and then it felt like the offense didn't see the ball for a long time because of the way they held it at the end of the half, and then at the beginning of the third quarter. But to only have 3 points was huge. I thought our defense came up with some critical 4th down stops. I thought it was awesome to see Josh Carty respond the way that he did. I thought Kyron Williams in the offensive line did a great job being able to create removal. Didn't have a lot of plays, but it was good, efficient runs. I thought Matthew was efficient in the pass game. There really weren't any explosive plays on either side, and I think that's where the game sped up. It felt like we were having a TV timeout every second and every stoppage in the fourth quarter. But we came away with the win, and I thought that's what good teams do. And I really think we're finding different ways to win, but that was good complementary football. I was proud of our group. I thought our defense did a good job of really settling in the second half and making some of those stops that I talked about. And what a cool deal to see Tyler Higbee kind of have that touchdown. It was a great finish by him. And, we'll take this one and we'll learn from it. And now we got to go have a great game against a really tough opponent that looks like they just went into overtime against the Panthers.
Was that Tyler Higbee, was that call between you and Matthew, was that organic? Was that kind of planned? You hope to get him a look like that?
Oh, it was a play that we liked, and it's really a play that he's been really good at, Jordan. He's had a lot of production. He's been the guy that has really made that play really good for our offense over the last handful of years. He's had a few touchdowns on it. But it was great for him to be able to do that. I thought just overall for Matthew to get him the ball, and then I thought it was a great finish. I mean, he had some space on the sideline, but to be able to put his right foot in the ground and level that thing off inside, and then it's as excited as I've ever seen a team for a guy to be able to do what he did. And it's been a really long journey back. There was a lot of guys that were so excited for him because of what he means to them as a teammate, as more importantly as a human being. And he happens to also be a stud on the football field, but he epitomizes everything that's right about this team. Mentally tough, physically tough, resilient, can respond to different types of things. I love him, and it was a really cool moment today.
You guys have found different ways to win each of the last 4 games, it feels like. What does that tell you guys about your team and the confidence levels you guys worked your way toward?
Well, I think the guys know that they can win different types of games. And today was a little bit different than the Niners game, even though it was low scoring. But I thought it was really, truly like complimentary in terms of, all right, defense gets a stop, offense comes away with points, being able to sustain drives. It was a really shortened game, like I mentioned. I love the response from our special teams. I mean, I thought it was really cool for Jay Witt to be able to kind of force where he's at coverage. They muff the punt. He ends up recovering it, so we don't even have to get back out there in a 2-minute defense. To get the stop where they have to take that long field goal to keep it at a 10-point game was big. I thought we had some really good tackling in the second half, too. We missed some tackles. Breece Hall did a good job. Some of their skill players of being able to get some extra yardage, even though it didn't lead to the big one. There were some things that we can really clean up, and I thought we did a much better job. I just love the sense of urgency from our group as a whole. I thought the coaches had great energy, the players, and it was a little bit quiet in the second half, and I thought our guys did a great job of controlling that.
You guys kept it on the ground a lot with Kyron. Was it something that you were seeing? Was it conditions? Was it something that maybe Matthew was communicating?
Kind of all of the above. It was really kind of, that was what we thought was the way that the game needed to be able to play out, and we were really efficient, with the exception of those 3 runs at the end. You think about throwing it on 3rd down, but knowing that it still is a 2-possession game, rather force them to use their last time out, and that was kind of the way that we ended up playing that out. And then fortunately, like I mentioned, we ended up creating the turnover on the punt coverage, but it was, we didn't have many offensive plays, only punted once. To come away with that many, with that few points is very unique. But I think the game was shortened because of the way both offenses were able to possess the ball. I think in the first half, you have an 11-play drive where you end up having to punt, where we got a 3rd and 7 screen where we're throwing it, it gets tipped. Maybe you attempt a long field goal there, but it was a great job to put them on the 1. Then they go 99 yards. Then you get it back, another 11-play drive. We end up turning the football over on a 2nd down. And then we end up getting it back off of the 4th down conversion that they didn't get. That was a big stop by our defense, and then 3 plays later we ended up punching it in. And then that's the first half right there, just from an offensive and defensive perspective. So very strange game, but hey, any way that that you can win. There's no style points. We'll take it. I love this team.
How valuable has it been to lean on Kyron as much as you've been, not only today, but just really the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, it was good to be able to have, those 10 days off. I remember Sam Farmer asked me, he goes 29 carries on Sunday, 29 carries on Thursday, and now he ends up, I want to say, probably had, close to 23. Yeah, he's got 20 here with 2 minutes left, and we gave him 3 of those carries, so not quite 29, so he's fresh. He's in good shape.
What is it about this team to dig out of 3-6 last year and make the playoffs and almost win the playoff game, and then this year 1-4 and dig out of that to get in a position where you control the division? Few teams dig out of these holes during the season.
Yeah, I think it's a credit to the players, and I think the coaching staff. I mean, we always talk about resilience. Even though last year's team was different, there's some similar guys that had been through that. This year was very different. We're very young at a lot of spots, but we still have that veteran leadership. But the guys just focus on what they can control. I think they've done a great job of being totally and completely present. They've just stayed the course. They've gotten better. We got conscientious players, and our coaches have stayed steady, and that's what I've been proud of. But like you mentioned, we still have 2 games left, and we've got to go handle our business and have a great week of preparation against the Cardinals. They obviously did a great number on us in the second game of the year. I got a ton of respect for Jonathan Gannon and that group, and so we're going to do the best we can to put together a good plan and be ready to roll on Saturday night at home.
Sean,
Last one, yes.
How do you turn over starting, I guess, when you're right on the plane? Can you take us through what that looks like on a long road trip back on a relatively short week?
Yeah, you kind of treat it like a Monday night game, so what we'll do is the players will be off tomorrow, and then we'll get them back in. We'll have more of an above-the-neck day, which would represent Tuesday will kind of represent what would typically be a Wednesday, and then we'll get back onto a normal rhythm and routine. But instead of being able to do some of the things that we do physically on a Wednesday, Tuesday, that'll just be mental. Now, it's not quite the toll that a Thursday takes on you where you're installing really first, second, and third downs. So we'll be able to kind of get back onto a rhythm, but it'll be a little bit more of an accelerated process in terms of the game plan, and then the players are losing a day of preparation. But it's a long trip back, but anytime that you come away with the result that you're hunting up, a little bit more enjoyable.